What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Moseder here, back with another car video. We're in the Beardmobile today, and I just want to talk about this John Fetterman situation because it's very encouraging, and I find it extremely interesting. I was one of the very people that was making fun of John Fetterman. I was against him at every turn. I didn't like Dr. Oz that much, but he's a Democrat, a progressive Democrat. And here we have this establishment Republican figure over here. And he was, Oz was the lesser of two evils. So I was on the bandwagon. But, we can all let bygones be bygones now because now John Fetterman is the voice of reason. I'm sure you guys have seen that, he's been on numerous interviews. And he did an interview with Sean Hannity condemning the Democrats that are withholding SNAP benefits from 2 million of his constituents, the people that he's supposed to serve and represent. They're basically causing people to suffer and using it as political leverage. And, he's smart because he knows that it's not working for them. And the next time, during the midterms, they're screwed. So he's jumping ship. He's coming out as the voice of reason to try to say that what they're doing is wrong and he doesn't want any parts of it, which is going to benefit him in the long run. He's very smart for getting ahead of this. And he's reading the writing on the wall that this government shutdown is backfiring completely on the Democrats. You guys are seeing the polling numbers. Initially, everybody blamed it on Trump, or not everybody, but the majority of folks blamed it on the Republicans and Trump, and now that's completely shifted to the other direction as it's become increasingly clear that you can't continually vote against reopening the government and then blame it on somebody else. But I want to put this into a broader context of how this just goes to show that the Democrats are collapsing right before our very eyes. And I believe that the Republicans will retain the House and the Senate in the next midterm election if all continues on this trajectory. Because when they start breaking ranks, when they start opposing their own party, it is a shock to the system, because the Democrats rely on being a unified front. They rely on the fact that the majority of the Democrat Party is too scared to step out of line because they've seen what happened to Tulsi Gabbard. They've seen what happened to RFK Jr. They know if you say one word out of line, that if you don't march in lockstep with the insanity, you are going, the entire apparatus is going to turn against you and take you down. And so for the most part, nobody does. Nobody steps out of line, even when things get completely crazy and insane. Even if internally they don't agree with it, they know they have to go with their party. But John Fetterman speaking out and being the voice of reason, and it's so impactful and so powerful for him to come out and say, I'm sick and tired of these of my party referring to Trump and the citizens as fascists, as Nazis, as racists, and saying that I have people that I love, family members that live, outside the city in rural areas that voted for Trump, and I love them with all my heart. That's my family. Those are my friends. And it doesn't matter that we disagree. I still wouldn't call them a Nazi just because we have different political beliefs. Guys, this is poison to the Democrat Party. This is a poison pill. This is a turd in their punch bowl. And it's going to have long-lasting ramifications because essentially all it takes is one to step out, one to speak out, bring truth to power. I mean, it's very powerful and very encouraging to see this. And even though he's a Democrat and he's progressive and he has a lot of beliefs that I don't agree with, I mean, we should all be lifting him up. He's kind of growing on me. And I support him every step of the way. I don't like the way that he votes. I don't like his policies. I don't like the things that I disagree with him on a lot of fronts, but I can agree with him on this one. And so what's happening now is what you're seeing is the Democrats in a tailspin. They're collapsing right before our eyes. And it's happening in a lot of different ways, if you have the eyes to see it. Because the Democrats, as I said, are very, very extremely unified, and that's been their most powerful weapon against us. Whereas the Republicans, you have a massive divide between the MAGA, America First Republicans and the establishment globalists. There's a huge divide. The Democrats, on the other hand, are a unified front. But I believe this is going to cause a cascade, a snowball effect. It's opening the door. He's giving an olive branch for others to step out and say the same thing. And if that starts to happen, it's going to be a snowball effect. I believe so. So there's a divide being created. People are jumping ship. And at the same time, you see the Democrats that are still the most radical, crazy, extreme ones that are loyal to the party till death. Those ones are doubling down, and they're acting like rabid dogs. You see with them losing on every front with all of these governors and mayors being shut down, with these injunctions allowing Trump's agenda to move forward with ICE and the National Guard. They're pretty much out of ammunition on that front. And so now they're creating these portals where you can dox ICE agents. They're breaking federal law. I believe that the DOJ is going to get involved here because essentially you're aiding and abetting criminals. You're obstructing justice. They're breaking the law. We have Robert Garcia out in California, who announced that the House Democrats are going to be creating a master ICE portal where you can dox ICE agents. And now Letitia James, while she's facing her own legal battle, has announced that they're doing the same thing over there. And they're essentially calling for violence. They're trying to create another summer of love out of desperation. But unfortunately, the tables have kind of turned. The power structure's kind of shifted here, where that's not going to happen. You're not going to accomplish that either. So they're in a tailspin, guys, and it's very encouraging. And I just wanted to jump on here and say, from the looks of things, we truly are winning, and things are going to get a lot better. I can feel it, and I feel it deep in my bones. I used to be the most black-pilled guy. Black-pilled? Oh, God. I can't do a second take. I've been going for like 8 minutes. Please, nobody say anything about that in the comments. Black-pilled. I used to be black-pilled. I was the most black-pilled guy on the internet. And then I had my, I spent a couple of years in exile, and I reemerged this bright-eyed, blue-eyed, bushy-tailed, chipper, optimistic guy. And it's because things have gotten better, and I can sense that they're going to continue to get better. This is the dawn of a golden age. We are winning, folks. So if you like this video, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about everything I just said. Leave a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.